Let's do a bit of a mic check. Who have we got here? Yawn. Good evening, Yawn.
Yes, how's it going, Product?
Really good, really good. Shiti, how are you? How are you this evening?
Hey, Dog. Really excited for this one. We've got a massively action-packed town hall today, haven't we?
Yes, it's been a big month. Where are you in the world, Shiti? What time of the day is it where you are?
It's quite decent. So European time zone, 3 o'clock my time. Pretty good.
Very cool. Jason's popped down on stage, just waiting for one more. So we are just doing mic checks to get everybody in. I'm hoping we've got Jerry. He can't hide from us, surely. He's going to be here at some time.
Jerry's traveling, I think, today. So he might just miss the town hall for today.
We only get to hear 5 words from Jerry. We love to hear them nonetheless. But that's all right. We'll give it a few more minutes for everybody queuing in. The space has just started up, so I can chuck some tunes on. Where are we? Hopefully we can hear these.
What's up, guys? Let me know how the volume is once they're talking. Want to make sure you guys can hear it fine. I turned the volume down because he's playing copywritten music, and I don't want that to be playing on the stream. Not trying to get in trouble, so just waiting a bit here. This should be starting probably in the next minute or so. I took off the volume for the moment until they stop playing this copyright music.
We are looking on time there, being 10 o'clock Queensland time, but it is midday UTC around the world. We have with us on stage Yawn and Shiti from the team from STEPN. It is the August Town Hall, 17th of August. There is a lot to go through this month. There's a lot that's happened in the previous month. There's a lot that's coming up in the next month, and we had a great space last week. First off, seeing as we are just hitting that 10 o'clock, Yawn, how are you tonight, dude?
Yeah, very good. Very good. Thank you.
Great to have you back here. Shiti and yourself, welcome to stage. How's your month been?
Thanks, Bontalk. Time works at a different space when you're at STEPN, and all of us experience that dilation. So I'm really excited to see what all Yawn has in store for us to share today.
Should absolutely be a banger, especially with the fact that we did have a major update this week, and we had a big space last week as well. We see Mabel in the stage there. Mabel and Yawn hit that big space last week, followed by the Medium article. Did you want to start it off this week, Shitty? Did you want to start off and set the space for what we're going to go through today?
Yeah, thanks, Bandog. So I'm just going to be in the background and just want to set the stage for yourself and Yawn, most importantly. Today, we have some key topics to talk about. We'll start off with where we left last week with Mabel and Yawn. So we'll just elaborate a little bit more on making STEPN greater again, and what are the initiatives headlining that, followed by a massive chunk of today's space focused on GMT mining. So what we've done in the last week or so is collected a lot of feedback from the community, a lot of questions there that we'll be addressing today. And then followed by some topics of rainbow sneakers, some collaborations, and of course, double clicking on the recent app update that we did. So can't wait for us to get started. Over to you and Yawn.
Thank you, Shitty. Big week. So we did have a bit of a different one where last week, obviously, Mabel and Yawn jumped on the Twitter Spaces, and they had the short but sweet space. Yawn, welcome, of course. Do you want to talk a little bit about the MSGA Make Solana Great Again, the space, and sort of what that was about?
Okay, sure. I'll just do a brief recap, and then we can kick in some questions from the community. So really what we are doing is to shift our focus to Solana and BNB realm, particularly focusing on the floor price and also the JST. And it is really to leverage the GMT earning as an incentive to create that reciprocal relationships between the GST mining and the GMT mining. So, that being said, the GMT mining has been prioritized. So we were dealing with some task. We'll mention about that later. And as soon as we finish it, we are now rushing basically in the designs of the GMT minings, including the UI UX, the new sneakers, all the mechanics, and also we at the same time we mentioned several times we're building several apps concurrently. So we realized that there has been voices from the community wanting to see more on the social file or the social factors, which we also reacted by putting our social app to the priority. So that sort of means we have to drop the NFT marketplace and basically working on social apps. So we were thinking about releasing the NFT marketplace in August, but that being said, we're probably going to postpone it after we release the social app, which we'll also, again, talk about that later.
Oh, sorry, I'm just writing this down so I can get this live as we go along. So obviously then with the marketplace being paused and moving the resources, you're talking about moving dev team resources, Yawn, around onto other parts of the project, yes?
Yes.
Let's we're going to have quite a few questions from the community. Obviously, it's quite a complicated process. We'll try to get through them at a good speed for everybody listening in. We want to give it extra time this week. So the questions have kind of got the old feeling where you can see me sort of asking them out. So we'll start from one of the first ones, Yawn. The people that have leveled up, they've got their sneakers, they've spent some time leveling up these comfort earning sneakers. They've spent time boosting the gems and upgrading the gems, spending their GST, all of that, and then we're bringing in this entirely new GMT system with the rainbow sneakers, with the gems. One of the biggest callbacks from the community that have prepared these sneakers for the GMT earning is it kind of feels a bit unfair. Do you want to explain why we needed to bring out this fifth type of sneaker? What was the purpose there?
Okay, so before we talk about the purpose, it's really we have learned from what we've done with the energy bridge that we cannot mix different users under the same pool and manage their expectation and need at the same time, which will be extremely difficult. Meaning that we will then design this separate pool. We understand that we have people that have been preparing for the GMT earning sneakers, so that we have to have the classic pool where they can earn from the classic pool. But equally importantly, we need to also create new system to boost the entire ecosystem to a what we call like a positive feedback loop. So this is important. I think the most important task for us is to revive and revitalize, and we have built purposely two different products. The classic sneaker, which is the comfort sneaker, have no lifespan. People can just mine that for the entirety of how long they want to mine. Unlike the rainbow sneaker, which will have a lifespan, which will we talk about that later, will be like a proper Bitcoin miners. So it will sort of break down, and then you have like another one. So meaning that people need to constantly enhance the sneaker to get the rainbow sneakers. We're again providing an extremely strong support to the floor price.
So even though we've got this chance to farm with the classic sneakers, so we've called them a classic name, and that's got a bit of a wow term to it. For people listening in, we're still going back to wow, which is good. But it's only 20% in the classic pool, so there's a whole other 80% on the rainbow sneakers. It does seem disproportionate still. So do you want to talk about why? For starters, it's a two-part question. Talk about why there's such a high 80% allocated off to the rainbow. And then for the second part, we just need a little bit more clarification on the starting of the GMT earning with the classic pools, how much people are going to be earning with those particular classic sneakers.
Okay, so I think to answer the 20-80%, we really need to explain why we create rainbow sneakers. So the only way to get rainbow sneaker, if people didn't listen to the last week Twitter space, is to get it from the sneaker enhancement, which basically you need to buy up the floor price and then burn the GST to enhance. So if more people are enhancing in order to get the rainbow sneaker, then the floor price and GST price will go up. And for that reason, we need to allocate a fairly bit of the GMT for that. Otherwise, people will lose incentives. As also, they will also spend a lot of GST and also burn a lot of sneakers to achieve or to attempt to achieve getting a rainbow sneaker. So we allocate 80% basically to encourage more people to enhance, and then so on and so forth to encourage to the positive feedback loops. And we also didn't forget about the existing user. So that's the reason that we have to launch the pool in sort of an order. We're going to launch the classic pool first, and then we're going to launch the rainbow pool, rainbow plus, and then we're going to talk about short and filter pool down the track. So when the GMT earning start, we'll start with 100% which will be earned by the classic sneaker. And then after a while, we'll introduce a rainbow sneaker with a rainbow pool, and then the percentage will be prorated, meaning that the classic pool will have 40% and rainbow pool will have 60%. And once we release the Rainbow Plus, then we have the classic pool going down to the 20%, rainbow pool to 30, and rainbow plus to 50. So there will be a time where people can access to a higher level pool. But the idea is to have the rainbow sneaker, to have the classic sneaker have the first dip in the GMT earnings.
And that's good. So we've got some good clarification there. So we know that at the start, the classic sneakers, they'll be the only ones earning for the people that have got them prepared, and they're going to be earning 100% of the daily GMT. Is there going to be a rough time frame? Are we going to be given a time frame on how long that's going to be lasting? Or is that more of a back end thing that we won't find out? So how long until the rainbow sneakers potentially could be launched?
Okay, so we still have a target figure of how much GMT we wanted to burn in order to initiate the GMT bindings. And for that reason, we have introduced all the GM use cases this week. And we forecast that we will have the classic pool open somewhere in September, and then followed by the rainbow sneaker and rainbow pools. So the thing is that we are designing this concurrently. Let's say with the sneaker design, with the UI UX. So we probably will need to have a clear estimate of the rainbow pool, because we don't know when we're gonna get everything done. So on the GMT, if everything's on track, we're looking in September. For the rainbow, we will probably having maybe another Twitter space to talk about it once we have a clear estimate of when.
Oh, that gives us a bit of an idea. There's a good term there for everyone listening in, of course. It looks like potentially September for GMT earning to start with the classic. That's important because we need to know preparation, gems, all these kinds of things. There's a fourth pool that wasn't really touched on there. I'm not sure whether the team's got this ready to go. Yawn, the Schadenfreude pool. That's kind of still up in the air, isn't it?
Yes, so we are looking at a complete redesign of the Schadenfreude pool, maybe even the names, because it will serve a different purpose of a GMT earning. So I think we will be in the position to talk about it once we get Rainbow Plus opened. It's really something that we think will bring scalabilities to the GMT earning. But a lot of the details has been finalized, so we probably will come back to that once we have a better idea.
I don't know if we can get rid of the name, Yawn. That took us a long time to learn how to say the Schadenfreude pools. We took a long time with that. All right, so there's a lot of really good information there for everyone listening in. What about when we've got 3 to 9 sneakers? So people that have got the 3 to 9 sneakers, potentially the gems as well. This goes towards the gem question. If people are enhancing potentially to get their first uncommon, to get gems upgrading to use in their normal bag, they may not want the rainbow sneakers or the gems at all. If they get themselves a rainbow gem and they're not prepared for the sneakers, then is there going to be an option to pick and choose with potentially creating that rainbow sneaker or gem?
Yes, so I think for anyone that don't want to have a rainbow sneaker or rainbow gems, will be people aiming for like a really high level gem upgrade, or they are using the Genesis sneakers. So, but again, they will be a toggle, a switch to turn on and turn off the GMT or the rainbow sneaker if you can get it. But I would strongly advise people to turn it on, because it will be difficult to get.
All right, I believe maybe in one of the questions further along as well. Definitely want to get into that too with what you're saying, why they're going to be rare and stuff. But once we get to, you did mention it already, but once we get to that 100% on the burn bar, that's on STEPN.com, that was introduced this week. I believe it was 91.6% today. It went up 0.2%, maybe it was 0.4. But will the gate be open? Will we start earning that GMT like sort of we expected before, or are we going to have some kind of an announcement? You mentioned potentially a Twitter space.
Yes. So once that bar hit 100%, we will then make announcement of when. So basically, we're not gonna say, oh, now it's September. We're gonna say, all right, GMT earnings starting next week. So it's not gonna be like that. So it will be a shortly after. We will start GMT earning after the announcement.
It's important, isn't it? Because this is a big event. The GMT earning, us getting into it, it's the main token that's going to tie everything in, the whole step and verse. So we want to make a bit of a special go out of this, don't we?
Definitely.
All right. So we know from the space that making these rainbow sneakers, the fifth type of sneaker, it's not going to operate like our previous how we play the game now. So we can't have 4 different types of sneakers, whereas the rainbow sneakers are going to be all trainers. The gems are all one rainbow gem. And that's quite simple. It's I guess in a way you'd say kind of smart because it allows a more streamlined, simplified system. But then you've removed all 4 base stats, and then how the sneaker continually degrades down that 0%. It's a bit complicated for some of the standard non-gamers and maybe even potentially new users coming into the system. So do you want to give us a little bit of an understanding? It seems complicated for a new user, so it's going to be a very hard one to explain. Why did the team choose to completely change it all out there?
Yeah. So we understand that it is a new system we introduced, but we have to introduce that. Again, so we will talk about this like I think many months back that if an NFT should have a lifespan. If not, then we will ultimately face a inflation if we don't have enough player come in versus how much sneaker have been minted. So we have to install a lifespan for the rainbow sneaker. Only by doing this, there will be a consistent support of the floor price because people cannot say, all right, now I got the rainbow sneaker, I can just sit back and relax, basically collecting GMT. But as the whole space become overpopulated, you got in trouble. So we then have to, we actually refer a lot to the Bitcoin miners or asset miners. Asset miner have the characteristic of one, have a lifespan, it will break down. And 2, for same serial or same batch, they will have equal hash rate. Everybody mine almost the same hash rate. And it all look the same. So for all this reason, we say, okay, why don't we just make a new system? Because patching the old system sometimes doesn't work as well versus creating an entirely new system. And we need to remove all the attribute because we want to make the GMT earning sneaker a pure form of GMT earning sneakers, meaning that I have no other functions other than earning GMT. Because you have no other functions, it doesn't have to, because it die eventually. Basically, it doesn't have minting functions. You don't need to repair it. And because it doesn't have lock, it doesn't drop a mystery box. So it will be a universal GMT machine, and people use it for the lifespan. And if they want to have another one, basically have to go through the whole process again.
So, like you're saying there's obviously no luck, no efficiency, none of the base stats. So you expect people still try and rotate this in with standard gameplay with mystery box hunting and things like that, and then try to use that as part of their gameplay?
Yes, because we believe there will be strategy formulated around how to earn GMT based. You know, we again, we're going to talk about that later. Is we remove the 3 energy rule, meaning that people can actually sneak peek of the hash rate for now, and then decide if they want to continue. And also, they will also going to be checking on how much rainbow sneakers currently out there. What is their, again, we're going to talk about that later, the decay rate. You know, so it will be very interesting to see how, because they become like a game theory, right? Where people need to see at when they can maximize the earnings. Because again, when we talk about mechanics, we can talk deeper about how the GMT, if not be mined in this particular block or 5 minutes block, it will then be rolled over. So, you know, there will be a lot of strategy around it. So people need to formulate their strategy, you know, and then to maximize their earnings.
Yeah. It's definitely the PvP side of that. We'll talk about that, like you said, a little bit more as well. So, I just got, I guess, knowing that the sneakers don't have those traditional 4 base stats, it's going to make us completely reassess the whole game as we go along, from a strategy point of view. Now we understand that the sneakers can be traded, but can we get some more clarification? Can we trade the sneakers and gems, or are the gems completely locked out? That was the initial plan that we've heard so far. So can the rainbow sneakers and the gems be traded?
Okay, so we have made some changes. We listen to the community basically, so we also think that gems should also be tradable. So rainbow gem is tradable, and because we have the HP system, meaning that if you get a rainbow sneaker, you haven't used it, then you can put on the market to sell or even transfer away. But if I have used it and then make the HP decay, say from 100% to 99%, then you can't trade. Because you can't repair it to full, then you can't trade, then have to use it. So only when HP is 100%, you can trade it or transfer it.
Because it made us a little bit nervous that we may be stuck with these gems and we weren't sure whether we could toggle the gems, as you said earlier. It kind of put us in this situation. And then if you get a minor, a rainbow sneaker, you weren't sure, could you go and buy a gem to go with it? You'd have to then go through a whole heap of things with that. So that's good. Yeah. So they'll be tradable. That's an important one. All right. So is there a chance anywhere along the line that the classic sneakers might earn more than the rainbow sneakers, because 20, 30, 50 are going to be the three pool splits once all 3 pools are going? Is there going to be a chance, do you think, that potentially the classic sneakers can earn more than the rainbows?
It is actually possible, because looking at how much in the rainbow is 30% versus 20%, is not too much of a difference between the classic and rainbow pool. That's one. And 2 is that user that mining the GMT, again, follow the same logic where they have the 5 minutes block, right? So if no one is mining on the classic pool and there's overpopulated sneaker on the rainbow pool, then you will starting to see the classic sneaker earning more. And then they will create a dynamic shift where people say, hold on a second, now rainbow, classic sneaker earns more. Let's move on to the classic sneaker. Then it become like arbitrage against these 2 pools. It's almost like how realms works. So you assess how the hash rate in the classic pool is, and then you assess how the hash rate is in the rainbow pool. Then you say, all right, with that much energy I have today, where should I earn the GMT? So it's possible, but once the classic pool earns more, people are starting to flood in from other places to classic pool and drop the earning. And because people are going to the classic pool, the rainbow pool's hash rate will drop, meaning that earns will be more, and then people go back to the rainbow pool. It's all about creating dynamics and equilibrium.
So is that why we saw the 3 energy limit? There was originally there was going to be a 3 energy requirement. I thought that meant initially that you needed to have an uncommon or more in your vault. But was that initially the intention, was you had to spend 3 energy minimum to be able to farm GMT? So this is what you're saying now, you're going to be able to test the hash rate. So you can go in for 1 to 2 minutes and see if you're happy with earning the particular rate at the time.
Correct. Because how, going to the deeper of the reason is, with the previous design, it has based on a lot of random numbers, because we don't want people to really figure out how the logic works with the gem earning. But random number can really be unlucky, and then you might earning nothing in these 5 minutes. And then if you click stop, and then you'll say, my gem earning 0 or like a 0.1 something, then you'll be extremely unhappy. So we said we have to have a longer sort of a sampling hour, right? So 15 minutes, where the earning or the possibility will be even out, where you can say, all right, now maybe I got extremely unlucky for the first block, but I got extremely lucky for the second block. So it's cancel out each other. So that's the reason that we want people to run for 15 minutes. Otherwise, they may get either extremely high return or like no returns, which will really not be ideal for a gaming experience. But now, as we are using a rollover mechanic and also 5-minute block mechanic, where people can actually test it.
Like you said, it's going to be important where we choose to allocate our energy for the day on what particular sneaker, whether it's GST, GMT, time of day. Jogging with Barn Dogs 8:30 my time, people. So please avoid that time of the day, that lane. So with GMT, so when we were earning it, we were told that across all realms we would be earning equally. So it would be spread across all realms. So obviously we had 2 at the time. And now we've got these new rainbow sneakers. Does that change how all of that works, or is it still the same where we're earning across all the realms evenly based on players?
Yeah, so yeah, Rainbow Pool will be equally accessed by all 3 realms, meaning that we're probably going to see, we'll start from Solana, and then once enough sneaker has been burned on Solana, which cause maybe a deflation, then people are probably going to move on to the BNB, and then so on and so forth.
All right. When we get those sneakers, once we've they degrade down, so that the health points, once we've used them for a minute, they're effectively soul bound to our account. We can't sell or trade them. And I guess we haven't highlighted with the gems as well, Yawn, the rainbow gems. Once they go into a sneaker, the only way to remove those is to burn them, isn't it?
Correct. So so it is best to, again, strategize the timing of when you're going to insert that gems. You don't want to insert it halfway. So,
and I guess one of the only ways I could see you potentially wanting to burn a gem is if you had a bigger gem to go in. But once they get to 0% for the sneakers, what happens to the sneaker? Does it just kind of sit there and fill your bags up?
yeah, so it will just be sitting there with a 0 HP. Again, so you consider Rainbow Sneaker exactly how a common sneaker works, right? It will still provide, contribute to the energy cap if it's not decay to 0. But if you decay to 0, then you can't provide energy. It's just going to be sitting there. We haven't figured out what we're going to do with it, but currently it will have no use.
The OCD in me just screams out, going, there's going to be this sneaker there I can't use. It's going to give me no energy, does nothing, but it's in my bags. Imagine it just kind of sitting there. But then does that mean potentially down the track the team might have a use case or something like that?
We don't know, because we, again, don't want to add too much layer of complexities. So for now, you're just going to be sit there.
That's good. That's good. That gives us answer for now. It'll just sit there. I wasn't sure on this one. So this is a good question. So with the rainbow sneakers, can they be created before the new realms come out? So if we're told, okay, in 2 weeks' time, the rainbow pool, the first one, is coming out, you can start enhancing now, or will it be the rainbow realm is released? The rainbow pool's released, and that's when you start creating them.
Yeah, we address this like 3 times during the last Twitter space where we don't want people to front run it. So the rainbow sneaker can only be acquired through sneaker enhancement after we made an announcement and also open the rainbow pool. But that doesn't stop people from sweeping the floor price now as a way to prepare it. But definitely don't try to enhance because they won't get rainbow sneaker now. Yeah, so it's I think it's important for everybody to start sort of the same starting point.
So no one can front run like you say. So that means then, will we expect to see a update announcement? How will that kind of the pool and the announcement? How will that be handled?
Normally speaking, when we introduce changes like this, we will make in-app announcement. We're also probably going to do a maintenance. We're also going to be making a social media announcement. So it's going to be a lot of announcement so that people will be fully aware of when we're going to start it.
That hype train going. It's GMT Rainbow Sneakers hitting it. Oh, that's a lot of the questions. There's never going to be enough time to get through all of them. Do you want to give us a little bit of just give us a bit of a recap, then Yawn, the logic behind the rainbow sneaker and the earning pools? Do you want to just give us a little bit of a point from the team on that kind of the logic behind it?
Yes, we touch on that. So it's really because rainbow sneaker have a lifespan and is came out sort of randomly through sneaker enhancement. So it is really to use a very strong GMT earning proportion to attract users to do the sneaker enhancement. And if they get a rainbow sneaker, the earning will be good. And that will consistently provide support on the floor price as people will do their calculation and basically get the rainbow sneakers and earn GMT basically. So that will help with the floor price, and when floor price up, the minting will be profitable, and you will then get a lot of people to start minting. You will consume GST, will consume GMT, and for people that want to do minting more specialized, either in the jam or minting, they will also consume a lot of GMT for the extra percentage of getting a twin or having higher quality, or just to generally improve as they will do. If they are doing this a lot, it will be provide profitable, and then we will strike to an equilibrium of where the GMT earning will sort of sitting on this equilibrium with the GST earning, so people can swing between these two. And as this progress, we're starting to see a large chunk of GMT has been burned, and creating a very strong support of the GMT again. And with all the other things we built, also will continue to give GMT use cases. So we will start to see a very positive feedback loop with the GST price, with the GMT price, and with the floor price on the sneakers and the gems. And then this cycle start again when one batch of the rainbow sneaker basically HB hit to 0, and then we have a next batch coming up, and then again consume floor price. And once we have a steady sort of operation of this, we're starting to see people come in, we're starting to see referrals goes out, and we're running different event, offline, online event. Basically, we're starting to want to hit that multi-million user base.
So it all works towards that sort of circular process of earning GMT, using GMT, burning your tokens, and keeping it in there. So it's definitely a bold move by the team to get out there and create a whole new process this far into the game. So that is really, really cool. So it'll definitely take us a bit of time to divulge all of this and break it down. This week we saw some new things come out, Yawn, with the update, and we saw GMT use cases that they're quite expensive though this week. So seeing the twins, the gem minting, the increased chance to get that higher rarity shoe, 2000 GMT. So quite expensive. And if we compare that to one of our first use cases of increasing daily GST, that only started off at 300. Daily GST. It started off at 300 and then it became 420 and then it was 540 to go up gradually. 2000, it seems a very high number. So why did the team come up with such a high number in comparison?
Yeah, I spent 6,000 to level up one each, and then it will cost more as you're going up. So the design is really not for situation now. It's really designed for situation for the future. And for what we forecast, the sooner you buy it, is actually sooner will benefit. And it only make commercial sense where people take maybe one like specialties. It's almost like, again, when you play, MMO RPGs, you will be specialized in one area. And there will be, we'll start to see people specializing either in gems or specializing either in mintings. And with the, for what we foresee with the floor price being flipped and people aiming for the GMT earnings and rainbow sneakers, at one point we will start to see the sneaker going to deflation again, and that means having extra twin or having a higher quality one will prove to be profitable. And if you do it, again, people will do their math and say, all right, it might not be making commercial sense now, doesn't mean it's not be making commercial sense down the track.
So does that mean it goes up gradually more expensive as well? So it's 2,000 for the first use, then it's 4,000 for the next, then it's 6,000 for the next. Is it similar to how it increases with other use cases?
Correct.
Because that was obviously we got the numbers were wrong on a few of people's accounts, and it was like 20 and then 40 at the start. So people got in there juicy very quickly, had their GMT ready to go, and they loaded it up. But they all got rolled back, didn't they?
Yeah, it was accuracy error, and we have to roll back. Again, we're probably gonna do something down the track.
Yeah, it'd definitely be cool to see how they work out. All right, let's take a bit of a break from questions just for now. We've got more questions to cover up. But Shiti, do you wanna jump in?
Yes, I do, Barn Dog. Thanks for bringing me in. So basically, we've turned the town hall on its head this time around, isn't it? So usually we do all the briefing from the team and then take the questions in the end. But this time we knew that how big of an upgrade GMT mining and announcement is. And so we decided to devote the chunk of questions to it. And hopefully we've done justice to all the questions, and we will continue to monitor the feedback in all the channels. So please keep the questions coming. We do have a couple of other topics to talk about as well. So with 20 minutes to go, maybe we start with the app updates, Yawn, first, followed by a couple of collaborations that we just did. So maybe first the app updates, Yawn.
Sure. Okay, so we have done a pretty sizable update this week. It's really because we roll over several updates and combine them into one. And the reason is that we has been working with Apple for quite some time to bring the in-app purchase live to the app. But we are still fine-tuning it, so it's not 100% online, so people can see the VIP subscriptions, which we will roll out once we set up everything properly. But I think it's a pretty difficult task, right? To get Apple to enable a Fiat gateway in a Web3 product. So we will utilize this with more product features and really to provide a alternative for Web2 people onboarding. Although we have to pay like tax to Apple, but nevertheless, paying NFT through, for example, Apple Pay will be much easier than any other fiat gateways. Any crypto or Web3 product or business could provide out there. So personally, we haven't seen anyone successfully get a in-app purchase approved by Apple in the Web3 space. So it is actually difficult, but we were able to get it done, meaning that we will be able to utilize it to scale us. That's one. I think it's pretty significant for us, and also hopefully for the industry. And second is that we put the fusion function online, where people can burn a sneaker. Doesn't have to be the same quality. It could be lower than your main sneaker, but cannot be higher than your main sneaker, or be equal to your main sneaker. And then to improve the attribute, there will be no cost of doing fusion. You just have to burn that particular sneaker, and then the outcome will be randomly drawn between the minimum and maximum of the sneaker A and sneaker B, basically being the one you burned. So you can get extremely lucky to get the highest number, or you can be extremely unlucky to get the lowest number. So it's a random draw number. Number three is we have been taking advices from the community where we will record the last sneaker you use on all three realms, and so that it's like a log function, but you can't see it. So you will not having a different sneaker. So you can select your main sneaker, go out for a run, and then main sneaker will stay there until you change it, so that you don't use the wrong sneaker and then realizing that you are running with the wrong sneaker. So that has been done, and of course we introduced a few success rate improvement, the double mint, the higher quality of opening a shoebox, and also a higher success rate of JMap upgrade. And also we introduced the attribute point redistribution. It's called 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 GMT per point for different qualities from low to high. And we have been also receiving a little bit complaints that it's a bit of complex, where people need the GMT to buy a scroll, and then Solana, BNB, or Ethereum to buy sneakers. So they have to have almost a bit of everything. So to reduce the complexity, the minting scroll now is denominated by Solana, BNB, or Ethereum instead of the GMT. And we also did an update to our website, so we can see all the ambassadors, Bundog, and also we introduced the countdown progress bar for the GMT earnings. So that's about the 7 update we brought for this week, and we will now focus on the design of the GMT minings, and we'll let everybody know once we have 100%. So for the next update.
That's great. That was very well summarized, Yawn. Thanks. And then we also announced a big collaboration with Line, and I believe our community has some questions on that collab as well. So what does that Memorandum of Understanding, MOU, mean for us?
Yes, so we don't do this type of collaboration lightly, and neither does Line. So we have spent a lot of time to go through of what we are going to do with the collaboration, and we have some ideas. So the announcement is really about sort of a something that we want to kickstart, and then we will start to release a series of collaborations afterward, featuring some of again. I'll be very careful what I can say because the announcement hasn't been put out yet. But there will be several collaborations with Line, incorporating with their product, and also for people who don't know about Line, they are actually the biggest chatting apps in East and Southeast Asia. millions of people using Line. It's almost like equivalent of WhatsApp, and also equivalent of WeChat. So yeah, so they are very big from Japan. So yeah, we will slowly release some actual collaborations down the track.
Nice. Yes, and I know you're going to tease about some of the upcoming collabs as well towards the end, so I'll let you be on that.
I think we'll be very sort of subtle, as you know, we're probably going to make some announcement this week, hopefully, about additional collaborations. And on top of that, we actually also part of the Solana space. Is a physical retail shop of Solana, and also for the Solana ecosystem partners. So we will start to display and sell a range of merchandise in the Solana space. So I think there will be a grand opening down the track, so people can pay attention to it. And I think Solana space will also, and Solana will make announcement for it.
Yes, and it pushes our agenda of bringing communities both in metaverse as well as in real life. So it's a perfect collaboration as well.
Yes.
Yes, please go ahead.
Yes, and also we have also shift our focus from, I think, more of a solely move to earn to community building and community rewarding. So we have put out several giveaways. You know, the ill Korean magazine giveaway, and we are now doing the electric zoo giveaway. We'll have several giveaway down the track. I think what we really want to build is a community not only rewarded by using STEPN, but also rewarded by participating in our event, and also hopefully be the user of other product we build.
Absolutely. That's the cornerstone of Web3 community as well, isn't it? Where communities are token gated, and sort of the value that accrues back to GMT, not only GMT, but also to GMT holders in ways like these, with Space ID Raffle, with Ledger giveaway, with the giveaways that we just announced with Electric Zoo and others we will be. Talking of communities, how can we not talk about ambassadors? So I know lots and lots of exciting work going around. The few top of our mind are Fire Launcher organizing some interesting workouts challenges like Ice Bucket, Push Up, so many of those Twitter. Those are my most favorite part of my Twitter feed when I see transformations, fitness, workouts, etc. I also know that our ambassadors June and Kim had an offline event in Korea. Heard great things about those. And then Japan ambassador Metax held meetup event with Crypt BBQ. So great stuff going there. There was a Bristol offline event in the UK, and there was a Sunshine Coast meetup. And I'm sure I'm forgetting and missing a few here, and I'll try and do a better job from next time on this. Yawn, comments on our ambassadors?
Yes, they're doing a stellar work and amazing works. And also, I think Chris is also organizing a STEPN New York Marathon Expo. So I think we have a booth, and we were hosting event in Solana Space Shop. So if you are in New York, go check it out. I think the time is something around 3rd of November, so we still have a bit of time. So it's expo all day. I think it's Friday until 6:30. So yeah, if you're in the state and in New York, so go check it out.
Lovely. I'll get Bond Dog back in to wrap up things. We're spot on time.
I just needed some clarification, Yawn, just with the Apple app. So there's something you said tonight is there going to be potential to be able to buy NFTs in game via Fiat? Was that going to be the push through for the Apple app?
We had the what they called in-app purchase gateway opened. We have done a subscription base where people can pay a monthly VIP to have some perks.
That was the $20 a month, and there was the 3% chance if you failed a gem mint. What was the other one? You got a chance of keeping your minting scroll. plus of course the avatar picture. But then was there a potential chance that this might be also an onboarding tool as well for purchasing NFTs?
That's what we discuss internally. So once we have the gateway, we can utilize the gateway more down the track. So it's really how we use it. But to start, we have built a VIP system. I think it will be a constant evolving sort of a design for us. So again, this is the first Fiat sort of channel we have. So one, I'm going to be very careful of what we roll out, and two is this is, I think, just a mere beginning of what we can do. So it will be once we have more ideas, and we'll potentially have more features revolve around this feature. And also, I think Apple is the hardest one, so Google will also follow. We'll have the Google same type of services down the track as well.
Yeah, because that's where I would lead into. I know I had a lot of people, and even I am a Google user. So I use Samsung myself, and going to the Korea event. Obviously, a lot of the Koreans, that's where Samsung isn't home. So, yeah. So does that mean that the monthly subscription, it's quite a cluey little way of doing it, isn't it? Because that's also now going to be another non-Ponzonomic way that the team's going to have a revenue source, because obviously Apple will take their cut, but then that's going to be another way that the team makes revenue through people subscribing.
Yes, and it's really not about us making revenue. It's really about we have much. I think we have a stronger tie with Apple. We now sort of under their wings, and paying the tax. So it's really about us. I think to build a much sustainable product down the track, especially being the Web3, people understand this, is that you will need to look into different avenues. I think to how can I say be sustainable, right? So I think you got the idea, right? So
Yeah,
it's different to work around it.
Does that mean we all need to go and buy Apple phones and subscribe to be able to get this option, or it shouldn't be too long a track to get into Google?
Yeah, I mean it's under the way. So again, we can only do so much in a limited time.
Yeah. Yes, definitely. I was stirring Jason up about that in an earlier space today. About he was always telling me to get an Apple phone. I'm like, no, I like my Samsungs. But this is something that you kind of go, wow, I might actually have to change. So we had a good space. Obviously, there's more questions. There's always going to be more questions, but it's nice to be able to get back to some of the basics of asking and pushing on some of the questions. We've heard about the MSGA make Solana great again. We've talked heavily about the rainbow sneakers and given a lot more clarification on some of the push points that we needed. And that's good. A lot of this is pushing in towards that circular process of everything going into earning the GMT. And the people, one of the biggest gripes that we heard from the community that had their sneakers, they're now coined classic sneakers, ready to go, their gems all minted up and upgraded, and they've been upgrading those over time with their GST. They kind of felt that that they would luck out, but they're really going to get that first grab at the GMT, like you say. And potentially then when the first rainbow sneaker comes out, they'll still get 40%, won't they? So it's not exactly going to go straight down to 20%. So it's good to hear a lot more clarification on that. A really big week. Have you managed to use any of the new gameplay yourself, Yawn? Have you been dropping in with the fusions? And you had something on Twitter today, didn't you?
Yeah, I blow like 25,000 GMT in one night. Just to test the product feature and get unlucky. I did one mint and Epic turned out to be a rare, so Then I got angry. Then I did the fusion. Sorry, I did the enhancement, which is good. Got a like a 2 comfort, 2 luck, but then the comfort level was too low. So then I fused 1 epic with 60 comfort, but didn't get far with it. So.
I'm not sure if you've seen Kevin, our ambassador. He's a legend. Whether you've seen his, it's definitely worth a look and a laugh. And I mean, you say laugh, but the poor bloke, he went up from 27.2 to 27.3 in his comfort.
Yeah.
So
I feel much better afterwards.
yeah, definitely. It's a bit of a lady luck thing, isn't it? Like do we see initially that seems kind of a bit risky for some people. So I guess I definitely put it out there for people. Understand the new systems that have come out in the game. I put a video up tonight to talk about them, but we definitely need more videos, more context. And this is something that we're seeing a lot of our ambassadors work at as well. Is there's a lot of discussions about putting out new language. So we're talking heavily about Spanish and other languages like that we don't have a huge coverage for it. So if there's anyone out there that hasn't looked at the new ambassador, the website for our standard STEPN.com, there's an application there. If you believe, you can have a look and see where all the ambassadors are based around the world. And we only have one in South Africa. We spoke with Sue this week. We're very light on in South America. So if you believe you could fill one of those, you're big in the ecosystem of STEPN or in the community, you may have language skills, be bilingual, you may be a content creator, and looking at that, definitely help out there and put your hand up. Maybe you can get a hold of me or Jason on Discord and we can go from there. But definitely great to see the ambassador update and to see, the faces of the community that we're talking. A lot of people have seen, some of us obviously doing videos and stuff, but then getting to meet all of these ambassadors, the great people that are giving us push and drive and are going to be the next faces for STEPN. But yeah, that's going to be the wrap up, I believe, then for the week. It's good to hear more a little bit deeper about that Apple app. And no clues, Yawn, no sneaky announcements at the end for partnerships for us.
We have, this is the thing with crypto is that you planned and it got delayed. So we potentially will have something for people hopefully later this week. We cannot say for sure as we still need waiting for the final confirmations, but I think we can make some teasers after this.
I like it. And of course, we've now got that burn bar on our main website, stepn.com. Keep your eyes on that. It's good to see that ticking along, and it sounds like we're going to have a bit of an announcement and a game out and make a bit of a special announcement for it because this GMT earnings is going to be huge. So it's great to see it. It's good to see the team look at that and definitely look forward to every week. But yeah, very, very definitely for me, having gone to the Korean event with June and with Walker Kim, a special shout out to them. They looked after me. I got stuck and couldn't go to Japan due to changes within the visa system, and it was awesome to spend an extra 2 nights with them. They made me feel like family, and I actually spent time with them in their unit in Incheon and got to have extra meals, and we did a night of Korean barbecue, and then we tried to do the pull-up challenge, and I couldn't do a single one. I've got an injured arm, so we did burpees instead. So it's really cool to have ambassadors that really make us feel like family, and we're seeing that more and more in a lot of these live events where we're getting community turning up. We had extra people turn up to Sunshine Coast and run the half marathon for their first time. We had people running their best times in their 10-kilometre speeds. We had Bryn, who's put down as an ambassador, but does a lot of work behind the scenes with STEPN, and he was running under an hour and 10 minutes in the half marathon. So definitely a shout out for the live events happening tomorrow, Friday, I should say, on our Twitter space. We'll find out more information about the Japanese offline event. So very, very cool to be a part of it all. Yawn, as always, thank you very much for tonight. It was great to get back to some old sort of question tactics push on some points. And Shiti, as always, thank you for coming on stage. And yeah, thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
I'll see you in
Thank
the
you,
next
Bond
one.
Dog. I just wanna add one thing, if you'll allow me. Which is that this team really doesn't rest. I know, macro speaking, these are not the best of the time for the industry, for the broader markets, but this team hasn't rested, let alone for a week, even a day. Just in this town hall itself, if you look at it, we've shared updates on product, which is how to make GMT earning best effective, most efficient. We've shared update on technology, which is through various updates, not to mention the very least with our Apple subscription thing. We've shared update on community, which is driven by you folks. And when I say team, it's not just the bunch of us with STEPN, it's our ambassadors who are working day and night, literally sweating it out there with the community. And last but not the least, you know, we are trying our best to make our communication, marketing, collaborations the most effective for our community, to make it win-win, you know, to share as many giveaways as possible, to make the STEPN ecosystem last as long and as sustainable as possible. So from time and again, I know there are some frustrations, there are some questions. All we ask of the community is to just give us some time and space to make things better, to keep making things better. And we have absolutely no doubt that STEPN is going to be one of the best projects out there once the bear market is over. Yeah?
Okay, Shiti.
I love it. We should have more of these more often, Shitty. Raw is good sometimes. It's nice to have these extra bits and pieces. I love it. We definitely need things like this. I for the life of me don't think STEPN has stopped at all. And seeing an update that's come out this week with all of these GMT use cases, the fact that the team's pivoting from step procedures to go towards the GMT earning is kind of testament. They're listening to people and trying to make Solana great again. So it's good to see. Very appreciate it. Any kind of extra closing thoughts from you, Yawn?
I think I'm good, and we just put a poster out, a teaser, so and our Twitter. So yeah, we will be back to release something upcoming. So yeah, stay tuned, and we're also gonna do some giveaways and activities around it.
Very cool. We'll wrap it up there. I appreciate the extra comments, Shitty. That's awesome. Yawn, as always. We don't get to say hello to Jerry and stir him up for the last final thoughts, but everybody have a great week. Be safe. As always, team members won't message you for any private details like seed phrases or verification codes. It's good to see the verification code system change, and a lot of people won't see it because they don't get the verification codes, but there's something extra put in there now to tell people don't share this with scammers. But team's always listening, the team's always watching, learning, trying to catch up. If there's extra questions, put them in. Don't forget there is a suggestions and ideas channel in both Discords on to be able to put in there if you've got extra things that we should be looking at. But appreciate the session. Yawn, Shitty, thank you very much. Everyone have a great week, and we look forward to hearing more news and watching this GMT bar progress along till the gate opening, the AQ gates.
Yes.
Thank you, everyone.
Doing my part. Okay, thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.
I do love, Yawn, the fact that you said I got angry, so I
yeah, it's always a positive spending. Got me.
it's good. Yeah, never do angry gem crafting. That's one of the things I've learned. Got me yesterday. But everyone have a great week, and we'll look forward to the next one. Thank you, guys.
Yeah,
Thank you, Shitty. Thank you, Yawn.
Thank you. See you guys.
Bye.